Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you all. We'll be getting started in what, a minute and 30 some seconds? Oh, hi, Marlene. We've got a few folks here on Zoom, which is this is part of the calls I do every month, but we're doing an extra bonus call today. So we'll be getting started here in just a minute. Alrighty, welcome everybody. Good to be with you. Thanks for your patience. I knew it was a minute or so late. So for the Zoom, since we had someone ask, so this is part of my membership program, but we're doing an extra bonus call today, and I'm streaming it live on YouTube. So if you are a member, you are on Zoom. If not, it's something I open up a couple times a year. It is open right now with a Black Friday thing. So because the question is here, if you do want to sign up for it, there is a link there for the Black Friday for that, and that will get you into the Zoom. And so this is something, sorry, I wasn't expecting that. So this is something I do at least 3 times a month with the group. And we take a topic, like as you can see today, I figured because we just had Thanksgiving, at least for folks in the US, that we are potentially dealing with some family things, whether that was you happen to be around your family or you weren't, but there was guilt or conversations or feelings of loss, anything that may have come up. So a lot of times this can introduce some triggers and programmings and some things that we might want to work through a little bit. So I figured today would be a good opportunity to do that. So hello to everyone that's coming in on YouTube. Like I said, you're seeing this thing called the Inner Harmony Collective. That's the name of the program that I do. That's group calls like this multiple times per month. But we're streaming this one because this is an extra one, and I thought the subject could be relevant to many folks who are here today. So let's tune into the subject, shall we? First, just, let yourself get a little bit settled in. Let yourself take the opportunity to get in whatever zone is right for you. Maybe you're listening to this more in the background, but maybe you have this opportunity to actually be kind of present and process through some things today, in which case, give yourself a moment to just feel where you are, feel your body in the chair or whatever you're sitting on. Let all of the activities from the morning and the thoughts of what else you have to do for the rest of the day, just let them float by. Don't hold on to them. Bringing your attention to spending a little bit of quality time with yourself here, with your own emotions, your own feelings, the stuff that you are normally too busy doing actions, taking care of other people, taking care of making money, all of these types of things, and say, right now, I get this little bit of time to just say, hey, what's going on for me? And specifically, let's take a look around family programming, family triggers. So has anything come up for you around family, in particular this week? If there was triggered by certain words a family member might have said, or actions, maybe just someone's energy, even being around certain folks. There could even be guilt or other emotions just coming up around whether you were with people or not, or they were guilting you for spending time with the family or not. We have estrangement from a daughter, so another holiday without family. Okay, yeah, that's an intense one for sure. And that can really be charged for us this time of year, right? Where there is a schism or an estrangement, or even just tension with someone we haven't talked to in a while. And it can bring up the feeling of like, should I send a text? Do I say Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, right? We have not feeling good enough or measuring up. Okay, yeah, so like parents or siblings kind of giving you the feeling of not measuring up to their expectations, or perhaps comparing you to a sibling. Feel free to be more specific. But and what we do here, for those of you watching on YouTube who aren't part of this group normally, we're basically, and I can see the chat on YouTube as well, so feel free to put things in the chat there too. Oh, hi, Christine. Yeah, exactly. So I will incorporate things that you bring up, even if they're quite specific, into the tapping that we do. And again, as specific or as broad as you like, whatever you feel comfortable with. It's quite confident, though, that whatever's going on for you, someone else is dealing with. So as we bring it into the rounds get this kind of nice group energy to them. And we touch on things that someone else goes, oh, okay, yeah, I think that actually applies to me too, and I might not have realized it. So we have Mary saying, feeling that they won't understand me and only judge me based on their own standards and gaslighting. Yeah. So feeling that they won't, I'm curious if that, you don't have to share whether that means they actually did, or I'm assuming you feel that way because there's the pattern for you, right? They won't understand me. They're going to judge me. So a lot of judgment energy, right? Feeling like I won't measure up, like I'm not good enough. You can all start tapping now too, as you like. I called my mom, and she said she would call me back and never did. She's never present with my kids because I'm not in her state. I don't care, but I'm sad for my kids. They don't have a grandma. Yeah. So we have some disconnections, estrangements, and when we are connected, some feelings of judgments. Gaslighting from my sister, who is super thin, and I have gained some weight from an injury. Okay, yeah, so we got that comparison. Okay, we got some, juicy stuff here right away. So let's just give ourselves a moment to feel how that's coming up for you. And actually, let me continue with that for a sec, because I am curious, are there any body sensations that come up? It's up to you if you want to put them in the chat, or if that breaks the flow for you. That's fine. But it's good to become aware of those when you do some tapping or do some processing. You've got in touch with that event, that estrangement, that comparison from your sister. And as you tune into that, notice if any particular parts of your body are speaking up. Guarding in the posterior spine, we have in the chat. Yeah. Any places where you're gripping, any places where you notice the body responding in a certain way. And that's very helpful to just put your attention on. Include that as part of your experience. My body is constantly bracing for judgment and rejection. Couldn't sleep today. Lower back feels like there's a lock. Okay, so challenge, but start with allowing that to be there. You don't pretend to like it. It just means, okay, this is here. There's guarding, there's bracing, there's discomfort. And there can be a temptation to like, okay, let's process it to get rid of it. But anyone who's been with me for a while knows that's not my approach, and I don't find it to work in general, right? Use the tapping, the calming signal to your body, just to create a space that says, my body's bracing, my back is locked, but it's doing that out of a protective mechanism. It's doing that because it senses a danger, not because it's trying to mess with you, not because of anything really wrong with you. So the more we create this environment that says, this is allowed to be here, even this unpleasant tightness in the body is allowed to be here. That will help the body and the emotional charge we're feeling. That will help it communicate with us on a deeper level. Okay, what's deeper behind it? Because then the processing is infinitely more efficient. And instead of trying to get the symptom to just be quiet, we create a space where we can get to what's deeper. Yeah, so body sensations, heightened emotional reactions, I think we're good on those. So let's go to the side of the hand. Let's say, even though there's a lot coming up around my family, whether it's the family I'm not seeing, or judgments and comparisons from the ones I'm with, I choose to have some compassion for myself and everything I'm experiencing. And even though there's a lot of energy and emotion connected to being with my family this week, or being disconnected from my family this week, I choose to allow this as best I can so that I can support it. And even though there's a lot of energy and emotion coming up around being with family or being disconnected from family, and the judgment, comparison, the measuring up or not measuring up, and the bracing and guarding in my body. I just choose to acknowledge myself and everything I'm feeling right now. Okay, through the points now. Yeah, there's a lot of energy here. There's a lot of emotions that run deep. Because family I've known for a long time. And so they are a very direct doorway to some very strong and young feelings for me. So the bracing I'm feeling in my body, that fear or expectation of judgment, the feeling of sadness and disconnection from the family I'm not in contact with, not seeing my daughter, as best I can, allowing the intensity of this, not forcing it, just acknowledging this is a lot for me. This runs deep. So I can be with it as much as feels right for me. And really feeling into those body responses. Because with many of my family, my body may have been interacting with them before I even knew how to speak. So my body is responding in a really deep and visceral way. To the energy I'm picking up from the way they are being with me. Guarding and protecting itself because it doesn't feel like it's being met with love and acceptance from all of the family. This feeling like I'm being judged They're comparing me to my sister. They're judging the weight I've gained. They're judging where I am in my life right now. And maybe I'm not even around them. But just thinking about them during this season, my body's reacting to the energy they've often given me. And it's so natural for my body and all of the youngest parts of myself to really be looking for my family, to create some safety for me, to be there and support me in some way, to not be judging me, to not be comparing what I'm doing to the rest of the family. And so part of me is seeking that. My body is expecting it to come from them. And I can say that's understandable. This was going on for many years before it was ever possible for there to be any other source of safety and non-judgment. And I'm just acknowledging how hard that is to be with, how hard that is to go through. And in fact, at that young age, it's impossible to really deal with. We just have to suppress it and deal with it as best we can. But I'm open to the possibility now that here in this adult body, I have a little more space. I have a little more capacity. To connect to my own source of safety. Maybe that's a bigger power than myself, or my own inner resources. But I'm just exploring that right now. So that for those parts of me that need it, for my body that's bracing from that judgment, that I can begin to provide some sense of safety and welcoming. Even if it's just a little bit. So yeah, I know my family's got its problems. I know he or she is judging me. I know they're distant from me or disconnected. And of course, these parts of me and my body really want that connection and safety. Just seeing if it's possible for them to turn towards me right now. To turn towards this space that we're all creating here. Yeah, it would be nice if we had perfect relationships with family. But it also could be possible that even if we don't, even if they are talking about my weight or comparing me to my sister or not speaking to me, that we can begin building this space within ourselves, that it doesn't trigger me in the same way. That I'm not looking to them for safety and security. It would be great if they could give it. And I can deepen my connections with the ones who can. But just allowing myself to explore that there may be other ways I can feel, ways I can be present for myself and with myself, even when they're doing what they do. Because there's a good chance they might not change. And I'm open to being okay with that. Open to finding a way where I have access to the connection I need. The connection with the deepest parts of myself. Connection with life. Connection to anything higher or beyond that can allow me to be present with this and with them in whatever way is best. All right, let's take a breath there. And as always, what we do on these group calls here is you can let me know what happened, if it brought anything up, what emotions are coming, what resistance is there, and we'll use that for the next rounds we do, and the next wherever the process takes us. So we do have a comment here that says the inner child just said, "I have no support from mom. I have no support from life." Okay, good. Yeah, that was during the round. Let me know if what we were doing there helped begin creating a space for that. Because as a young child, if you're not getting support from the family, it will have to feel like life itself is unsupportive. It is dangerous, right? It is unsafe because you don't have the capacity or the abilities as a kid to say, well, I'll just go cook my own food and go make my own money and start my own life, right? If it's not safe, it feels like life is unsafe. And you can carry that through life, a sense that this is not an okay place. Just because the body grows in age doesn't change that nervous system mapping of like, well, no one's gonna look out for me. Life is not okay. Life is not looking out for me, right? And so I like to, explore that by, of course, if it's one-on-one, a little different, but seeing if we can connect to ourselves in this adult body while we're sending this calming energy and while we're exploring it to see where else can I look, where else can I connect to something. Because it's very, very common in this type of work to find an energy around the family that just, like, I really want them to change. I really want to hear the apology. I really want to make a stand, right? A lot of like tension around what we want to happen with the family. And we can't make it happen, right? You can't make your parents be different than they are. You can't make them grow up. You can't make them mature. You can't make them contact. Okay, this is some more tension coming up. I wish I could divorce the notion of family from being loved ones because they have harmed me too much. Like life not feeling life for me, to ever want to deal with them or see them again. And yet I feel the societal pressure to not cut them off entirely, even when I don't want to call them family. Yeah, that's a deep one for sure. The pressure of what my family is supposed to be like. And that's a good one we can continue to explore, because we all have our own variations on that, even if it's not as intense as what was commented there, right? Like, it might not be they never cared for me for some or for many, but there could be, well, this is what a perfect son, this is what a perfect daughter, a perfect brother, this is what I'm supposed to be, this the family should be getting together and having these, certain kinds of meals and nice, like these ideas. Societal pressure, as was commented, right? Different concepts around what it should be and what part of us wants from it. Part of us often wants that too. And so we get in this internal tension around, I'll never have that. So I get kind of rebellious and like, I don't need them, I don't care. But then part of you is just like desperately wanting it. And we get in a war sometimes within ourselves around trying to push down the part that wants the connection or wants them to change. Intellectually, I know not to look to them for support and being seen, but I absolutely still feel unsupported. Who do I even look up to? Life is not easy, rejected by groups. Doing this session instead of joining my family for the late Thanksgiving meetup. Okay. Yep. LOL, they wrote. Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, this is a different kind of gathering for sure. I doubt your family's sitting around and processing. But yeah, so I know not to look for them to be supported and seen intellectually. But it's not easy. Who do I look up to? Tapping on this inner conflict feels really helpful and powerful. Okay, good. So we'll go there next, right? One more comment here. As I live alone, I tend to probably wait too much from family. It does not help that I live far away from them. My decision, as my father would say. Yeah. Okay. So this internal conflict around what the family, quote unquote, should be and what it is, and that internal conflict between what they actually can do, being able to accept that, but part of us really wanting it to be whatever we want it to be. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the side of the hand. So even though there is a conflict, I choose to have compassion for myself. Even though I have inner conflict, part of me wants to just accept them or the situation. Part of me wants it to change. Part of me might want it to look a really specific way. Just choose to honor and accept myself and everything that's going on for me right now. Even though I feel internally conflicted about my family, about the idea of what a family is, calling them loved ones for the ones that definitely did not treat me with love, the expectations of what it should be, what I should be as a mother, daughter, sister, brother, and the desire to just let it go and not even think about it. I just choose to validate all the things I'm feeling right now and how conflicted some of it actually is, so that I can begin to find a sense of peace around this. Okay, going through the points now and saying, there is conflict here. Part of me wants to just let this all go, to not be even looking to my family for anything, to not be affected by their expectations, even to let go of my own ideas about what I'm supposed to be, about what the perfect child, parent, sibling is. God, I would love to just be free from that. Wouldn't it be great if I could just flip a switch and not care? But part of me does not feel that way. And I may not be fully conscious of this part. But if I'm anything other than completely at peace, parts of me want a connection. Parts of me want this to look and feel different. This is what getting together with the family should be like. They should see me and support me. They should just respect who I am and encourage what I'm doing. They shouldn't compare me to my brother or sister, or judge my life choices or whether I'm married or not. Why can't we just get together and have a nice dinner and feel loving and peaceful? And noticing any inner pictures or concepts I have. This is what it should look and feel like. This is what a family should be. And noticing how much suffering that causes. Acknowledging all the programming and definition that my mind has around the word family. It's ultimately a collection of humans who are not perfect. Everyone who was ever born is part of some family, at least biologically. So all of the worst things that have ever happened, all of the most dysfunctional things that exist, all come from someone who's in a family. The idea that there'd be a perfect family is the same as there being a perfect world. Which may, spiritually be possible someday. But it's certainly not right now. All of the complexities, all of their programming and judgments, all of their traumas and the ancestral trauma, and all the conflicting messaging from the world and society. We're a collection of humans all dealing with all of that. And just because someone is my parent or sibling, why would they be any certain way? No one has to pass a test to become a parent or a family member. They're all just people. And I don't have to say this in a cold or disconnecting way. I can love dysfunctional humans. I can be accepting of people of all types. But I don't have to expect them to be a certain way. I don't have to expect that when this group of humans gets together, it's going to look like a movie or a beautiful scene. Part of me really wants it. That part of me is not bad or wrong for wanting it. It probably wants world peace too. Totally fine to want that. But very painful to need it. Very painful to say it should be this way. And I wonder once again, even if it doesn't look anything like I believe it should, even if my family's never going to come together and be at peace, is there a requirement for me now to lose peace? It's as likely that my whole family will become peaceful as it will that the whole world will become peaceful. And all of my relationships are validating and encouraging. I choose to free myself from the idea that I have to feel a certain amount of suffering. That it's not possible for my body to feel safe and okay. Unless the family is a certain way. Because to that family. And again, it's okay that I want it to be a certain way. But extending some space and compassion to the part of me that's craving it, that feels like something special would happen inside of me. Suddenly, my inner tension and conflict and fear could alleviate or resolve if my family was better. I could say, maybe they're not that powerful. Maybe I can help free you from that. I really don't want my own sense of safety and calm to depend on these human beings all coming together in peace. Some of whom have no interest in changing. So I don't have to fight the fantasy of a perfect family. I can even hold that image if it makes me feel good in some way. Just like I can hold an image of world peace, while also extending to myself that it's possible for me to feel more and more peace, even if they never change, even if they get worse. Because unlike when I was a young child, my life does not depend on them. My emotional state does not have to depend on them. And the more free I am internally, the more simple this becomes. I either just hang out with them and I'm less triggered, or if the situation is really unhealthy, I can say, okay, this isn't good for me. And I'm not giving up this, fantasy version. Or manufactured sense of obligation. Because I happen to be born into this family, I'm now obligated to be a certain way for the rest of my life. Or accept certain things. So continuing to give compassion to the part of me that would love it to all be, nice and neat. Say, I know that would be nice. But let's create a nice space inside ourselves that we can bring in to any situation. That can be with us wherever we go. And can be part of us, even when we're triggered, even when they upset us. Even when we have a reaction and something comes out of this mouth. That I can, more quickly than before, return to a place that says, okay, yeah, there's emotion here, there's history here. But what do I need right now? How can I access more peace? Which can only help the cause and may radiate to them, it may not. But I want to have more freedom for myself. Because this is the one conflict I have some say in. All right, let's take a breath there. Let me know how you're feeling. Oh, nice. We had a comment, a huge breakthrough in the chat. I'd love to hear about it if you're up for it. That's always nice when it happens. And we've been here a good 40 minutes or so, so it can be a good time to kind of stretch or move. While we stretch or move, why don't I let you know about this call that you're seeing. We do multiple times a month. We do it with a group that's here on Zoom. We got several of us here on Zoom now. We did one yesterday. We did a couple last month, one on money stress. Yesterday we do like a Q&A kind of call every month where we do some tapping, and we also just discuss things that come up where we can get more into more details and nuances than we might on YouTube. But I open this group a couple times a year, and I've opened it up for Black Friday. I'm sure you've got a lot of Black Friday deals your way, but here's another one. And probably maybe unique from some of the other ones you're getting, in that it would be this kind of call. You're actually seeing one of the calls right now. So it's opened up there. It has an annual membership there. If you click on it, though, there's also the option for the monthly, I believe. You just click on it and then say change plan. Let me put a link in the chat here on YouTube. And also, there's a discount there if you want to do some one-on-one sessions with me. For a package of 5, it's a pretty steep discount. If that's something you're interested, but there's any other issues, send me an email. Go to the website. Just get rid of that BF. Just go to innerworkcoach.com, go to contact, and send me a message. If, for example, you really want to do something, but there's extenuating circumstances or something of that sort, just let me know. This will be open until Tuesday. So after Monday night, it will be closed again, and I'll open this up again 2026. So just going to stretch and move for a sec, leave that link there. Might be a good idea to do the same if you've been sitting. If you're able to move around a little bit. I'm trying to get in the habit of that. And let's see what we've got here in the chat. So it was really powerful to recognize they, meaning the family here. It was really powerful to recognize they are human just as I. I was basing my entire safety and power on their ability to be perfect as they were expecting from me. Yeah, and going back to what we were briefly discussing earlier, right? Your imprints of them come from childhood, where you do sort of see them as these archetypal, almost godlike figures, right? Mom, dad, or whoever's raising you is like larger than life. And that gets imprinted, right? So there's it's very easy to not see them as human. It is a breakthrough, as you said. There is a shift that happens when you start to see family or parent as humans. It's a good sign when that happens. Things can shift a lot because you find you're interacting with like the expectation of a perfect parent or something, or like you're seeing them, you're expecting things from them that really, like, in a way, I mean, your dad could be incredible, right? But like your dad's just a guy. Like if you go to Walmart and you just see a guy buying something, like that's your dad is also like just a person, right? Like we don't look at everyone and think like, oh, they should be these bastions of safety and compassion and be able to hold space for children, and like, not everybody has everything together, right? Of course. But we kind of, project it onto them because we're kids. Right? So this is the best gift one can give themselves. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm glad if that's if you're feeling more access to that. It felt good for me to take my power back and just imagine and send them love. Yeah, that's great when you can get that organically, right? Not like, oh, I actually hate everything about this, but like, okay, send them love. Like, let's just do my positive thing. But underneath it, you're just like seething, right? So it's great when it releases and it's like, oh, I can send love to these people like I can to anyone else. And of course, I hope some of you at least have some family or some people you have like a sense of love with. It's not all working through issues, right? But we're kind of just working with the things where there are triggers or other feelings there. That was the most powerful part that shifted it, letting go of expectations. Yeah, and we have, of course, and remember, as a kid, you have to and should have expectations of your parents, right? They had you, right? That's part of the deal. It's part of the gig. So as a human baby, you literally expect things, right? And so with parents and people that are caretakers when we're young and we've known them from young, there is a sort of like expectation that's great when you have that breakthrough where it's like that starts to separate. That can separate, right? And depending on the dynamic with your parents, if you're good in relationship with them, there may come a time where you're taking more care of them. Right? I know that's come up on in our group together. Let's see, we have some more comments here. That's what I felt. There was a form of love was just emotion. Oh, this was before the round. Their form of love was just emotional gaslighting and abuse, and I still wish that they might finally understand and recognize my pain, but it feels too unrealistic, and I want to shut down the side of me that holds that foolish hope. Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful, because we really need to become the parent to the part of us that wants that. If you just try to shut it down and are just like, hey, just don't want love, that's a disaster. It just doesn't work. It's not accessible, as you probably have seen, right? When you try to just like, oh, I'm just going to shut it down, I'm not going to want or need love from them, you can't do it, because the part of you needs that. You need to find a better source for it, right? And that's kind of what we're playing with here, right? When that source can be adult you, or, I lean on things bigger than me, let's put it that way, right? To be able to help provide the space for it. And then you don't need to be looking like the craving for mom or dad or family to be that can calm down because you're getting it, right? You cannot access like, I just won't need it. I'll just shut that down. I'll just be fine being lonely and upset, right? Yeah, there was some more here. Victoria asked about the private sessions. So generally, if you get, for example, the 5-pack of sessions, I ask to use them in 5 months. So it doesn't mean you have to use one a month, right? You could use 5 on the 5th month. But I do that so that they don't just kind of linger forever and then not get used, which happens sometimes. So it kind of inspires that. But there's not should be plenty of time, right? So basically 1 month per session. And then if you had one scheduled like around that and there's an issue or something, you can email me. This is the best gift. I've been working with Evan and he is very effective in his work. I've had great breakthroughs. Oh, thank you. I didn't pay Brock to say that. I have had great breakthroughs working with him. Thank you so much. This was very freeing from lots of old patterns and expectations. Thank you. Okay, excellent. Well, that's good. From all the inner work, I'm not so attached to them changing, not seeking some miraculous approval. The way they usually some crazy emotional blow up. The tapping helped accept I have no interest in them flying off the handle. Unhealthy. 40 plus years is enough, not 40 more. Yeah, and that's, that's our own rights. Say sometimes you do this type of approach or practice, and it's like, hey, I can go there, I can hang out with them. There's parts of it that I like. There's parts I want to be around, and I know now how to regulate it when the fighting starts, when the chaos starts. Be like, okay, like I'm not going to get involved in that, but I'm also not going to be triggered by it so much. Right? That's one variation, because there's so much variation in this, right? It's really hard to speak to it broadly because we don't really know anyone in the chat like what it means, right? We could be talking about like physical stuff happening that's really super crossing lines. And for other people, it's just like it gets to be a little much. But it's something that if we're able to resource ourselves a bit, it's like, okay, I can hang with it. I can have the dinner, like that's fine. And then when it goes into when they start arguing about this or that, I can just go in the other room and, watch football or something. And like, the tool helps you kind of navigate it in the way that's appropriate for you. And all the way from like no contact, right? Which I have worked with people who've had to do that. I don't like specifically coach that. That's not really my purview, but people that are making that decision or have made that decision, the emotions that come up around that, right? The guilt, the shame, or I do have a certification of working with people with like narcissistic trauma, where there's dynamics with the family that can be quite manipulative, right? And so I'm just saying that there can be a huge range of spectrum here. So you might hear sort of like testimonial type things from people who do inner work, or comments even I might make like, oh, maybe, you could be around them and be less triggered, and be like, dude, that's not, that does not apply to me, right? So I totally get that, right? It's speaking broadly to a group where it could be anywhere in that spectrum. So hopefully this process, this way of working with yourself, helps resource you to get clear, right? So that your decision is not based on a reactive moment, but from more emotional clarity of like, you know what? This is how it's gonna have to be for me, right? I'm gonna have to let this go, or I can do this, I can be with this. It's just gonna be so much more relaxing to just let them be who they are and not be so, frustrated by it or so triggered by it. So we've got, good maybe 7 minutes or so left, not tons of time. I'll give it a moment to see if there's any comments, any thoughts, anything else to add to it. And we'll just close it out then with a brief little exercise and intention for each other here. I think that's what I'm feeling in this regard. But I will give it that moment here, especially with the delay on YouTube today. And thanks everyone joining on YouTube. I never say this. I should. If you are inspired to, please, if you do any of the liking, commenting on the video, stuff helps tremendously. So it's always greatly appreciated. And okay, no more comments. So let's do this, shall we? You can tap like on the collarbone if you want. It's not going to be like a formal tapping round. So just allowing yourself to tune in to what we've been exploring here. This idea that when we were all young, when you were young, you did not have a choice but to need and to crave and to expect a lot from your family, from the immediate caretaker at minimum, right? You had no say in it. You just showed up, right? And your body needed other people to do things. Your nervous system, your emotional regulation, all of that required what perfect world would be coming from your family. So as an adult, we can start judging our neediness, or why can't I just let them go? And just let yourself kind of connect to that really, really young energy that's just built in. It says, yes, I need others. I am dependent. And just feel the fragility of that. See if you can be there with some compassion for it. Notice that you, as an adult now, anyone who would come to a call like this, right, has a certain level of emotional awareness, a certain level of capacity, that they can look at this sort of young part of yourself and just be aware, like, yeah, I'm not an infant now, but I can see how built into this nervous system and body there's certain expectations. But that's not neediness. That's not something I tap away. But could there be another source? And I'd invite you to imagine now, whether you're a visual person or not, whatever this brings up for you, right? Imagine each one of us here. Perhaps that's coming together physically, or you're seeing it as some kind of energy, where there's a space created where we can all feel into that sense of, oh, yes, this is connection. This is being seen. This is being felt. That we all are connecting to a source. And the source does not have to be your mom, your dad, right? Your brother, your sister. It's a big universe. There's a lot of stuff going on in this universe and beyond it. These just regular human beings with their flaws. They might not be the optimal source for us to turn to. But notice how, not to make them insignificant, but just how small, right, one individual person is compared to this broad, sort of infinite capacity, this infinite source of something that can provide a sense of connection, that can provide, it does provide all the time, a sense of space, openness, right? The tree I'm looking at right now is not being judged or compared. It's just nature. Life is just there, giving it space to be exactly what it is. The tree didn't have a good or bad Thanksgiving with its parents, right? Just let yourself feel another source and imagine all of us feeling more and more connected to that. And wouldn't it naturally follow that we would be a little more at ease, a little nicer to each other, a little more calm? That even if your family does some pretty silly things, pretty destructive things, pretty dysfunctional things, that connected to something much bigger, you could say, like, yeah, that's pretty wild, isn't it? It's not the source of my well-being. It's not the source of my life. It's not my life force. Notice when you're connected, when we're all connected to something much deeper and much more powerful, there's not even a need to make a stance about it. So, oh, I'll never talk to them. I don't need them. I've got this other. It's just like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm connected to an infinite well of something. much deeper. It can absolutely handle whatever chaos might be going on in the interpersonal world. Right? This can help me. This can guide me through this. Even if I'm literally isolated somewhere, just imagine every one of us hooked up to this. Your own image, your own sense of whatever that is that we're all connecting to. It couldn't possibly be dependent on circumstances, on whether you're alone or with 1,000 people, on whether your family's talking to you or alive, right? Just allow all the energy that defaults to, it's gotta, why is my family, like looking to them, seeking for them? Say, hey, look over here. Let's connect to this. We can let them be where they are. And if you've got a good vibe with your family or some family, you can imagine, well, even if you don't, let's imagine them finding this too. Because why not? They have access. They might not know it. Their disconnection from this is why, if there's dysfunction there, that's why it's there. So just allowing that to move into your body in whatever way that feels right for you, without forcing it, just allowing it. And if it doesn't feel like, oh, I can really connect to that, if it feels a little abstract, that's okay. Just opening up to the idea. And if you do feel it, just experiment with surrendering into it a little more. It's not something you do, it's something you relax into. And just inviting yourself to be reminded of this, to stay connected to this as often as you can, to reconnect as often as you can. Because unlike even the best family member, this is always here. We don't have to send a text and see if this source is available. Right? And so just set an intention for yourself to be aware that this is here, even if you don't feel it yet, to be open to it, to be open that this is possible, that there's no correct protocol you need to follow. Okay, you have to visualize every day and do certain mantras or tap every day in order to get access to this. This isn't a test that you pass. It's not an achievement after you finally fix and heal yourself. Just allow yourself to relax all of that and just imagine we're all just connected to that, right as we are right now. And taking a nice breath. And then whatever feels right for you. Some of you may just stay in this zone. Before we disconnect digitally here, just see if there's any other comments, thoughts, feelings. We have a few. We have expectations, vulnerability, so true. Learn to connect through ancient vulnerability. That's nice, yeah. In a way, me and the family, each one, we are in the same boat, humanity. Absolutely, right? There may be people that are in the human family that you're going to connect with way more than your biological family, but we all definitely are part of that. Thanks, Evan. You are really good. Well, thank you for saying that. I'm glad if that was helpful. Thank you. Thank you. And YouTube is, a good 20, 30 seconds or so behind. So thanks to everyone in the group and here on YouTube. I'll just throw this back up there one more time in case you joined or are curious. This call, just like we did, obviously different themes, different topics, group tapping, group processing on things. I do several of them a month as part of this group. The link is on the screen. If you click on it, it shows you the annual price, but I believe if you click on it, you can also get into the monthly. It says like choose plan. Thank you, Evan. Deep and insightful. Thank you. Thank you, Evan. This was helpful. Awesome. Well, I'm glad it was helpful. And thank you for letting me know about that. So I hope you have a nice rest of your Sunday, wherever you may be. And I hope to see you on another one of these soon. Keep in touch. And any questions, anything about the program or the sessions or anything like that came in, feel free to email me as well. Let's go to the website, and I will talk to you all soon. All right, have a great rest of your day.